Okay, so while we are waiting, on a scale of 1 to 5, where 5 is high and 1 is low, can each one of you just put a number to say, I'm a, um, I'm a, I'm addicted to AI, ChatGPT, anything else, or I'm just getting started. So 1 is addicted, sorry, 5 is addicted, 1 is just getting started. Okay, we have lots of 5s. We have one person with 1. Can we pull your leg if you're 1? Just kidding, just kidding. Okay, so most of you are 4s and 5s and some 10s. Okay, so guys, why don't we get started? We have 33 people. Hopefully a few more will join once they catch up with the Varela. So I'm sharing. Kyle, can you see my slides? Yes? Are you on mute?
I was on mute. Yes, I can see your slides.
Okay.
Oh, I see one
All right.
slide.
Okay. So let's get started. So today we'll talk about AI tools and some tricks you can use to make your day-to-day more productive. I actually wanted to do this one in a classroom setting, so all of us can be playing with it. But logistically, it proved to be a challenge. We could not get a big enough room. So let's try to do it like this. Again, you guys will have the slides after the call. So I was looking for a fun cartoon. If you are doing a startup, just add .ai. Your chance of raising funding goes up. Okay, so so today is the 5th of 6 sessions. We have covered a lot of ground. I'll summarize. A quick promotion for the last session. So the last session is next Monday. It is in person only at UST in the Nexus Theater. We have 9 startups. Each startup will have 10 minutes. 5 minutes to present, 4 for Q&A, and 1 to switch. So 9 startups, 90 minutes. I'll run it very fast-paced. What that means is, if you guys trickle in, that will be very disturbing. So I would strongly encourage you to show up here by, say, 4:30, 4:15. So we can start on time, and we can finish the pitches at 6 p.m. Our fearless leader, Stephen here, he's arranging some food and drinks. So at 6 p.m., we can do a little bit of networking over food and drinks. I'm also excited to share the 5 judges we are going to have. Andy White, investor; Benton Moore, investor and Brink advisor; Bobby, investor and Brink advisor; Patrick, founder; and Tracy. Can you guys go on mute if you're not asking a question? Thank you. And Tracy, investor, entrepreneur, etc. So we saved the best for last. Please make every attempt to come here in person. You will have a lot of fun. The 9 startups, I have carefully curated them. all of them are early stage, pre-seed, pre-revenue. For many of them, this is the first time pitching in such a forum. So roughly speaking, all startups are in the same stage. Next Monday, May 5th, 4:15, please show up. Okay, so this is our 5th session. Let me make sure my audio is, okay, I'll increase the volume here. This is our 5th session. In the first session, we did an overview of AI, how it is 75 years old, how far it has come, and what to expect in the future. In the second session, we looked at opportunities in different industry verticals and different functions. In our third session, we looked at opportunities for startups and investors. And then in our last session, 2 weeks ago, we looked at the key risks and challenges. And they are not going away. So how do we mitigate them? So today, we'll talk about tools and tricks. By the way, if you're keeping track, as of this morning, we had 235 people registered. Right now, I am showing 46 people on the call. So thank you, guys. I appreciate your support. Okay, so the agenda for today, I'll focus on 3 big buckets. The first one is I'll touch on LLMs and agentic AI. You guys have been sending me a lot of feedback, and you basically said you'd like a deeper dive on LLMs. And what is this thing called agentic AI? So I'll touch on it. We are limited on time, but I'm happy to follow. Number 2, maybe my productivity has doubled over the last year because I have a system where I'm using lots of AI tools. So I will share the range of tools out there, the ones that I use every day. And I have made it easy, so you can easily access them from a slide. I have it all hyperlinked. And then what I figured we'll do is, OpenAI is unquestionably leading the charge. So we'll deep dive on OpenAI and ChatGPT, look at all of the things they are doing. They are doing much, much more than just the model, just the LLM. I'll show you some tricks around prompting. We look at the latest agents OpenAI has introduced, deep research and operator agents. We look at things like Sora, DALL-E. And then we look at custom GPTs that you can use and you can create. And then I have some cheat sheets for you guys. Okay, so I am presenting. I cannot present and watch chat. So Stephen, you are here. If there is a burning question, just interrupt me so I can address the question and keep moving. Okay, so if you guys have questions, just keep popping them in chat. Okay, so let's start with a word on LLMs. So you guys are actually very advanced. I have to do this, so it is for everybody. A simple way to look at LLM is this slide. When you look at expert systems, then you have an expert define the equation or algorithm, and you get the answer. When you have LLM, you don't know the equation. You get the data set. Larger the data set, better the model. So then there is this thing called you are training on this data set. That's what gives you the model. And then you are asking questions of the model. And that's where you get the answer. So there is this open question around, well, if AI is creating the model, do we need experts? And my answer is, over time, data will become the new black, the new gold. If you have large amounts of data in the right context, then the value of an expert would go down over time. These things don't happen Sunday night. They are multi-year, maybe even a decade-long proposition. So that's a simple way to think about LLM. Now, I asked ChatGPT. I said, hey, ChatGPT, can you create a list of all the major language models that have been introduced in the US? And this is the spreadsheet I got back in a few seconds. So, OpenAI started the train. OpenAI released ChatGPT 4. By the way, a measure of how good an LLM is the number of parameters or the size of the data set. So GPT-4, when it came out, it had 1.76 trillion parameters and 13 trillion tokens. Very big model. And since then, these other guys have come out with different models, Anthropic and Meta and Google and so on. The last one to come out with the model is Meta. Meta is open source. And in terms of the size of the model and the size of the data set, it is beating OpenAI. So the main thing from this chart is LLM models are scaling up. They are getting more complex. They are providing more capability. It's not just search, it's reasoning. That's one trend. The other trend is LLM models are scaling down. I found this picture funny. So if you look at OpenAI, it's not GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3, GPT-4. They have like a soup of models because they're trying to meet multiple segments. So larger the model, larger the data set, better the training in the cloud. But then you also want smaller models. You want smaller models because you want to run inference on the device. You want to be energy efficient. You want to train and do the inference on a faster time scale. So there are different reasons for it. If you just look at OpenAI, 4o mini is very small, 6.7 billion parameters. GPT-4 is 1.7. Rumor is they're working with on 4.5, which will be like 3x bigger than 4. But this is not just an OpenAI story. Every major player is scaling up and scaling down. So where are they getting the data? That's a very good question. There is not a very good answer. The last time OpenAI published where they are getting the data was with ChatGPT 3. And this was the makeup. So Common Crawl is basically all of the internet publicly available data. Then you have Wikipedia. Then you have all of the books written ever in the public domain. Then you have web text. So ChatGPT 3 was text only. This is how they got the data. And if I go back, ChatGPT 3 was 175 billion parameters, 570 gigabyte of data. GPT-4 was 10 times bigger. And if you look at number of tokens, it's like 25 times bigger data set, right? They are not publishing because people like Reddit and New York Times started to sue them. In one interview, OpenAI said they have trained on YouTube, but that is not legal. Google has not sued them because Google is probably also using other people's data. So this entire thing about where the data will come from, can I use it legally without violating any licenses? What is the business model? This is a very hairy kind of topic that is being discussed. If you have questions on LLM, please reach out or please put them in chat here. I just wanted to set some context. Now let's go to agentic AI. By the way, this is another interesting picture I saw. So in 23, the y-axis is a measure of intelligence. In 23, OpenAI was clearly ahead. Meta with open source was just getting started. Google was here. These guys started to catch up with OpenAI, 23 to 24. Actually, OpenAI did not make too much progress. And then we saw Elon Musk jumping in with XAI. And this data came out a couple of weeks ago. All of them have moved up. And it is amazing that just on language model, Google, XAI, and OpenAI are sitting next to each other. And actually, just on LLMs, Google and XAI are beating OpenAI. Google, we understand. XAI, 18-month-old company, shooting past OpenAI. That's a miracle. But this is only the language model. There is more to OpenAI, more to Google than the language model that I'll talk about in a few slides. Okay, so many of you asked me about agentic AI. One way to think about what's hot is look at what CEOs are saying in their earnings calls. And this is what CEOs are saying. So if you look at the number of mentions around agents in Q4 earnings calls, this has come out of nowhere, right? The percentage increases is amazing. I go to Silicon Valley every week. There are at least 3 or 5 conferences every day on agentic AI, and I'm not kidding. So what is agentic AI? A simple way to think about agentic AI is the 4 A's. So agency, so the agent has agency, it can act on my behalf. It adapts to the context. It adapts to my behavior. It adapts to what's happening around me based on how I set the context. It acts while learning, so it's constantly improving. And it is autonomous. It works by itself. I don't have to keep telling agents what to do. I'm going to show you a few examples of agents, but just conceptually, think about agents as these 4 A's. So an example would be, I can just say, plan my day. It looks at my calendar. It looks at my email. It sends me my schedule through my messaging app. So agents are becoming increasingly popular in the consumer context, but also in the enterprise context. I was with McKinsey a couple of weeks ago, and these are some slides that we did. I won't go through them, but it's good 3 or 4 slides to refer to around what are agents, what kind of agents. So you can think of agent as just a copilot. You can think of it as automating my workflow. You can think of it as operator. This is OpenAI agent operator. I will show you a demo here. So basically, the degree of autonomy is increasing as I go from left to right. And, McKinsey talks about first 2 or 3 are more short-term transactional productivity improvement, and last 2 or 3 are more transformational, disruptive, etc. So you guys will have the slides, look at them. This is where the wind is blowing. These are examples of transactional agents. These are examples of transformational agents. Okay, so quick introduction on LLM and agent, because you guys have lots of questions. Now let's dive in tools. So first, before we dive in, what kind of tools, how can I use them, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, how are people using these tools? And I subscribe to Visual Capitalist. You guys can do as well. It's like free for regular subscription. It's a freemium model. And if you look at 24 was not that long ago, right? We were using ChatGPT and these other tools to generate ideas, to search, to answer our questions. And it's amazing to me how things have changed in 25. So generate ideas and search for ideas. It's still there in the top 12, top 13. But relatively speaking, it has moved down by 5 or 10 points. What has moved up is therapy and companionship, organizing your life, finding purpose, healthy living. Healthy living went up by 65 points on this metric, right? This is a joke. There are many, many applications where you can find AI boyfriends, AI girlfriends, companionship. Actually, in Japan, the number one use case for seniors is AI companionship. It's crazy. The robotic use case is the robot is your AI companion. But on a more serious note, if you're using ChatGPT only to get your questions answered, you are barely scratching the surface. There is more to ChatGPT and everything else than just research. Yes, is there a question? Or are you not on mute? Okay, we'll keep moving. So, if you spend 15 minutes on LinkedIn, you'll find all kind of charts like this. All kind of tools, they're always changing, etc., etc. So what I have done is, this is what I use on literally a daily basis. And each one of these is hyperlinked. So if you want to go to Midjourney, you just click here. If I click, I'll go to the website. I'm not sharing the website, so you guys won't see it. But I made sure that my password, username and password is not there. So all these will basically take you to different websites or different apps. And many of these are free. Some you have to pay. But I would encourage you to play with them. So I use Midjourney for images. My niece found this creativity with AI. It converts photos to different types of art. I use Runway for video. I use Mubert to compose and listen to music. GitHub for coding. Logo AI to generate logos. Memes. Gamma, it's the latest, hottest trend for PowerPoint, etc. And then on chatbot, I am super duper user of ChatGPT. I will show you examples. Google Gemini, Perplexity. Again, all these are hyperlinked. So if you have not used any of these, you can just click here and it will take you there. There is this app called Po. Here you can make your own bot. You can say, I want my bot to be based on OpenAI, Google, and something else. So you can program or build your own bot. You don't need to do programming in the traditional sense. There is Personal AI. It's a San Diego company. It basically enables you to do a personal chatbot based on your personal data on your phone or on your PC. You have Microsoft, you have Llama, Elon Musk's company, XAI. Grok has been it has been improving crazy, and Character AI. Again, this is not a comprehensive list. No, I'm not endorsing any of these. No, I don't get money from any one of these guys. This is not like affiliate marketing, right? This is what I've been using for the last couple of months. I keep changing. But if you're looking for some starting points, this is a good starting point. David, you have a question.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I was just sorry. Before you move forward, I was recalling when you were talking about the large and small data sets, right? And the different, how important that is in regards to when you're building your agent or building the background from the beginning. Can you just comment, how is that the same or different as well as a used case? So data set small and then use case in regards to what we need to do as entrepreneurs to you know what I mean, to apply this in our own business way. So can you kind of differentiate large scale, small scale? What's your criteria to determine to go after, and how's that the same, different than use case?
Okay, that's very good question. And guys, I cannot see chat, but if you raise your hand, I can see raised hand. So maybe that's a good trick. If you have a burning question, just raise your hand, like David did. Okay, so David, that's a good question. So you need the data set to build the model. And the use case is how you use the model. So let's give an example. A big data set would be something that would run in the cloud. You need a big data set for the big LLMs. ChatGPT-based ChatGPT-4 is an example of a chatbot running in the cloud. The data set, the example I gave, was using all of the data on the internet, in the books, in Wikipedia. So that's the data set. The use case with ChatGPT is, can you turn my picture into a Ghibli-style image? Can you do analysis for me and tell me where NVIDIA stock will be in 5 years? Can you make travel reservations for me? So use cases are the actions you want to take. Data set is to build the model. The other question is
5:07 p.m.
The other question is big versus small. So on your iPhone, what Apple is doing is Apple Intelligence, and Apple is all about security and privacy. So on your phone, on my iPhone, I have all my emails, all my pictures, all my texts, all my Slack messages, all my bank accounts, etc., etc. They are all my data, my personal data. Apple Intelligence is about having the model run on my device. I don't have to have the cloud. So I'm going to use my personal data because it is on my phone. By definition, it is constrained by the size. So it is, quote, small. It's small and personal. The Apple Intelligence language model, think of it as SLM, not large language model, but small language model, will be trained on my data set. And then the use case is, hey Siri, based on my calendar and all of the emails, can you create a plan for me for the day? In the plan, please include what meetings I must go to, what action items I must respond to, what emails I should pay attention to, any bills that are due, right? So that's use case. So David, just so we keep moving, that should answer your question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Right?
much.
Okay. All right. Brett.
Professor, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Yes. Hi. Thank you very much. This is Ricardo. Just a quick question. If I'm trying to create educational videos, and obviously I'm going to record myself like you appear yourself there, for example, but I want in the background behind me to appear videos, pictures, diagrams, data, etc. Any specific app that can help me with that?
Yeah. So Ricardo, good question. Please try Prof. Jim. Just so we keep moving, if you guys have individual questions like this, where is chat? Okay, if you guys have individual questions like this, let's do it offline. But Ricardo, please try
Okay.
Prof. Jim. Okay.
Prof. Jim, like Professor Generation. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Brett, last question, then I'll keep moving. Please go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Well, hi. So I wrote it in, but as we scale up, most models will eventually become very large, like you were talking about. So their host, it's too large to host on a personal PC. So that means we either have to pay per token, which is what's kind of going on now using an API, or we're going to have to use a specific one. I was wondering if there was a good repository or a resource that has a certain amount of models and says, oh, well, this is the best for analysis, for coding, for intelligence, that type of thing.
Yeah, Brett, have you been to Hugging Face?
I have.
Okay, Hugging Face is the best thing out there.
I'm
It's
mainly
a good
asking for
start.
everyone else than myself, so.
Yeah, no, so Hugging Face is a good, so Brett on a scale of 1 to 5 is maybe 10, right?
5.5,
so
yes.
Okay, so not everybody is programming, but Hugging Face is a good place for all the models. It's a good repository. Think of it as the GitHub of language models.
Thank you.
Oh, okay, guys, let's keep moving. Okay, so we cannot deep dive into all of these. So I decided to deep dive into OpenAI today, or the many faces of ChatGPT. So why did I pick OpenAI? Why ChatGPT? Well, here's a quick comparison. These are, let's say, the top 5. Generally, they are available on the web, on the cloud. They have a mobile app. They have API for enterprise users, etc. They have different strengths and weaknesses. ChatGPT, OpenAI, this is their first business. So they are not constrained by cannibalizing their existing business. So they are basically all in. Google has a multi-$100 billion search business, the blue links. So Google is in a dilemma. If Google starts sending you to Gemini.com instead of Google.com, their business model will go down the drain very quickly. So Google is focused on integrating Gemini in the many products they have, in Gmail and Maps and so on and so forth. And the industry consensus is they haven't figured out how to do it in a tasteful way. So when you're writing a Gmail and you see Gemini logo keep popping up, it can be irritating. So Google, the language model is very strong, very good progress. But when you look at users, ChatGPT, OpenAI has 500 million weekly active users. Google has 67 million monthly, right? So 10x difference. Then you have Microsoft. Microsoft doesn't have Google.com, or nobody goes to Bing.com. I had to tell my niece what is Bing. She didn't know, and she is like a teenager. And so Microsoft has the same strategy. They're trying to integrate in Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Google Meet, etc. Only 28 million monthly active users. Anthropic is focused on the enterprise. And then XAI has come out of nowhere. And, they have 16 million weekly active users. Just so you know, 16 million weekly is equal to 64 million monthly, right? So for this reason, OpenAI ChatGPT is hands down the leader. Don't get confused by where the language model lands. So let's double click on OpenAI and ChatGPT. For the next 45 minutes, that's what we'll we'll do, and I have many, many, many examples. So first, these are 3 slides from OpenAI. These are public slides, but I think they are very instructive. So normally, when we think about OpenAI, we think about the model. We think about GPT-3, GPT 3.5, GPT-4, and then now they are getting into O1, O3, O3 mini is for the phone, etc. That's what we think about. And OpenAI business model is they give it for free, or you pay $20 or $200 a month. But OpenAI is much more than that. OpenAI is building data center with Oracle and SoftBank. They have announced they are investing $500 billion over the next 3, 4, 5 years. The project, the code name is Stargate. I assume many of you are familiar. If you're not, check this out. So OpenAI is not just a model company. They are building data centers. They are buying real estate. They are talking to GPU companies, etc., etc. $500 billion. Then when I go up, you can access ChatGPT, through an app or through the web interface. But actually, their enterprise business is picking up fast, where they basically provide APIs for anybody but enterprise customers to implement their language model based on enterprise data. When you are implementing ChatGPT in the enterprise, you don't want to use internet data, and you don't want to give OpenAI your proprietary enterprise data. So you want to still use the functionality, but you want to train it on your own data. And this is becoming a big business. And then finally, OpenAI describes themselves as not a model company, as a product company. So OpenAI has launched Operator. I will show you a demo. Deep Research. I have $200 a month subscription. You can get $20,000 a month subscription. And then you don't need software engineers. You don't need McKinsey consultants. And then they also have, these other projects I will show you. So OpenAI is building hardware, going all the way up the stack. This is public information. Last year, OpenAI did $3.6 billion revenue, $3.6 billion. In 23, they did 350 million, so 10 times. There is a rumor, I don't know if OpenAI leaked it, is in 2029, they will do 125 billion revenue. So all of you guys who are doing a startup, just think about this. 300 million, or let's say 300, 3,500, and then 3,500, and then 125,000. That kind of scaling. It's unbelievable the moat OpenAI has because of these up and down features. OpenAI started with chatbot, ChatGPT, then went to reasoning. So all this discussion we have been having around Humans have empathy, humans can think and feel, is out the window, because guess what? My ChatGPT 403 can think and feel and has empathy. And now we are moving to agents. I will show you some examples. There is operator, there is deep research, and there is tasks. And then in the future, basically, you can run your entire company autonomously on an OpenAI product. And so just imagine the consequences as we move to the right. And OpenAI says we are the best, etc. So I put this because the demos I'm going to show you, some will work for you, some will not. So these are, let's say, individual subscriptions. So ChatGPT Pro, $200, etc., etc. There is a ChatGPT Pro Enterprise version that's $20,000 a month. So the consulting firms are laying off people because of that. Good news for you. This slide is 3 days old. On Friday, OpenAI announced that they will enable deep research beginner mode in free tier. So I think the idea is, you try it, it's like freemium. You try it, you like it, you'll move up to $20, etc. But this is in your back pocket if you need it. Okay, so let's switch gears a bit. Let me see. So you guys many of you are 4s and 5s. So maybe you already do this. But most people, how do they use ChatGPT? They just ask a question. So an example would be, I would ask, where will NVIDIA stock be in 2030? And then it will give you an answer. I will show you the answer. But when we talk about prompt engineering, there are many frameworks. And we won't cover all of the frameworks. But an easy framework to start with is called the ACTS framework. So what does this mean? You tell ChatGPT what role you want it to play. So for the same question, I will say, assume you are a top Wall Street analyst. Then C, you have to provide context and constraints. So, the context and constraint I provided were, today, NVIDIA is 98% share. Let's assume by 2030, you will only be 50% share. Today, NVIDIA operating margin is through the roof. I said, assume 50%. Do a FCF analysis. For people new to finance, it's like free cash flow. How much free cash flow you are generating, and do the net present value of that. And then also look at traditional PE averages and use all of these constraints to predict the NVIDIA stock. Of course, the task, T is for task. You have to say, what are you asking ChatGPT to do? So you can say, my task is this, or your task is this. And then S, you can specify what format, what style you want the answer in. In this example, I said, give me the answer in tabular format and, insert graphs where possible, right? So we have 60 people on the bridge. I assume at least a few of you are just asking the question, where will NVIDIA stock be in 2030? If you're not using acts, please start using them. I will show you the difference. Okay? So acts framework, and here's your cheat sheet. So assign a role. Either you can say act as a CEO, marketer, financial analyst, as my CFO, as my resume writer, whatever role you want. Context constraint, you can say this, you have this much time, this much budget, make my travel plans. You live in India, you live wherever, all kind of constraints you can think of. Define the task. It doesn't have to be just the chat. You can say, create a resume, create a blog, create a headline, create a web page, create a book outline, whatever you want. Format and style, you can say table, spreadsheet, email, PowerPoint, Word, bullet point, whatever, right? So my goal here is not to be comprehensive. My goal here is to just give you some examples so you can apply your own creativity the next time you use ChatGPT. Okay? So the wrong way is I asked ChatGPT, where will NVIDIA stock be in 2030? This is the answer it gave me. Let me highlight a few things. When I ask something like this, it goes out on the web, on the internet, and searches for what people are saying. So it found these sources. It says, this is what people are saying. It did not do any analysis. It did not think. It just searched and got me back this table. And then it read all these reports and it says, these are the factors that will drive NVIDIA stock. And then it has some kind of conclusion. It did this in, less than a minute. If I had to do this, go out, search for different reports, blah, 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 it would easily take me a couple of days, right? But this is the wrong way. So let's go here. The right way is using the acts model. So that's what I walked through. Assume, give it a role, give it a task, give it context, give it the format. And then it did not just go out and fetch me data. It did real analysis. So the result of the analysis is it used these assumptions. It actually did these calculations. It did a sensitivity analysis. It made these charts. And it gave me a conclusion. This is a simple example. But think about your startup. Think about, by the way, we have many faculty today. Think about, your lesson plans. Think about your use case. If I'm putting together a course in economics, I can say, create an outline for an economics course. That would be the wrong way. The right way would be, who's the most reputed economist professor in the world? Be that. Create a course with 15 sections, one for each section. This format, my students have this background, blah, blah, blah. Then This one took me maybe 2 minutes. So it's not like this took me 10 times or 30 times. If I had to do this, maybe it would take me, 3, 4, 5 days. But don't just ask a question, use the framework. So let me see if there are any questions on this topic, or just raise your hand. Okay, going once. Okay. This is just cheat sheet for you guys. Many of you are more advanced than this, so bear with me. But you can use it to do summary, comparative analysis, creative writing, blah, blah. Just use the ACTS framework. And there are some advanced techniques like chain of thought. Chain of thought is, don't just give me the answer. Show me each step, like in the NVIDIA stock example. Show me what you're doing first, what you're doing second, what you're doing third. Just keep showing me, because I want to learn how you got to the answer. And it can do that for you. I know a couple of you have done like market research. Many of you have done customer discovery. So you could have said, I'm the founder of this startup. Be me. Here's my pitch deck. I need to do customer discovery on which target segment and what problem to target. And give me a chain of thought kind of reasoning. And it would do that. Okay. So related to this is deep research. Think of this as, okay, I just want to take a poll. I don't know how to do a poll. If you have used deep research, can you say yes? Or if you have not used, can you say no? I'm just watching chat, just want to get a sense of no, yes, no, no, yes, yes, no, 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 yes, no, 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 yes, yes, no, no, no. Okay, so 50% of you have used deep research, 50% of you have not. If you're going to take away one thing from this session, do this, and you'll thank me for it. Use deep research. So let's see. Let me see if I can do it real time. Give me a second. I lost my window. Give me a second. Okay, you guys can still see the slides, right? Yes. Okay, this is for people who have not done deep research. It is super simple. I'm going to use this prompt. I'm going to go to my ChatGPT window. I will have to share that window. Give me a second. Okay, you guys can see Mid-Journey? Yes? Somebody say yes?
Yes.
Okay. So you go to ChatGPT. You guys can see ChatGPT? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay. So I just copied and pasted that text, that prompt. And instead of using search, just use deep research. So you select deep research and you do this. And depending on the subscription you have, you'll get different kind of detail. So it says, can you confirm? Yes. Okay, when I did this, it took about 20 minutes. And it created like a 23, 24-page report. It took me 4 hours to read the report, but it took me only 20 minutes to generate it. And, you know, I have done FCF analysis and these kind of things. I've worked on Wall Street. No bullshit. If I were doing this, this would easily be a 1 to 2 week project. So it just sits there, you know, we'll come back in 20 minutes and see what we got. But this is not instantaneous because it is doing, quote, deep research. But it's as simple as just picking deep research and pushing there. If you have the free version, you can still use it starting today, starting this weekend. It's a beginner version, so you will not have all of the capability, but some of the capability. Okay, so we are back to the regularly scheduled program. So yeah, guys, please use deep research. You will thank me. So I wanted to show what is possible in deep research. And earlier today, I updated this. So this used to be no, but now they enabled yes. So some of the things will not be there, but at least you'll get a taste of it. Brett, I'll come to you in a couple minutes. Okay. Next one is operator. So an operator, okay, let's do the same thing. How many of you, can you give me a quick yes, no? How many of you have used operator in ChatGPT? Yes, if you have used it, no, if you have not. Undermined, okay, yes. Just say yes or no, just so I see it. No, 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 no. Oh boy. Ashruti, you cannot be grad assistant in my class and not used operator.
Yeah, I haven't yet, but yet.
Okay, guys, most of you have not used operator, which is, you have used deep research, but you have not used operator. No excuses. Please use operator. It's very simple. And basically, operator, think of it as a consumer agent. You can also use an enterprise, but think of it as a consumer agent. So here's the prompt I gave. I'm headed to Miami in June. Which week is the best week to go? Where should I stay? What should I do? Book my travel. That's the prompt I gave. In this example, I did not share my calendar. I could have done that. So what did it do? It took about 10 minutes. They have to work on the speed. But it asked me, what kind of things do you like to do? And I said, I want to go to investor events and these events, this kind of concert and so on. So it looked and found the first week of June as best suited for me. It asked me for my price range for the hotel because I have not shared. I was doing it on the web, not on my phone. If I do it on the phone, it will know me. But on the web, it doesn't know my personal data. So it found 5 hotels. It looked at which one is available for that first week. And then I asked, why are you searching for hotel first, not airline? Because normally, I make my flight reservations first and then book the hotel. And it said in Miami, if you're going to Miami from San Diego, flights are easy, hotels are difficult to come by, especially this time of the year. Right? So it knew, it found 5 hotels, it found 1 hotel that is available in June. It said, here's the hotel, here's the rate. Do you want me to book? I said, yes, please go ahead. So I'm using the web version. Web version does not have my credit card. It said, please provide your credit card information and I will book it. And at that time I aborted, right? But if I was running the iPhone version, I won't have to do that. And so, something like this, you guys travel all the time. Some planning like this could take 4 hours, 8 hours. It took me 10 minutes. Maybe 20 minutes if I added my credit card information and so on. So you can use simple queries like this. It is when you hear the word agentic AI, when you hear the word agent, it doesn't get any better than operator. It is right there on your fingertips. The best way to learn is to do it. So chat, Ralph counted, only 3 out of 37 are using operator. To be honest, that's very surprising to me when 50-50 were using deep research. So yeah, please use operator. Next, how many of you have used Sora? Please say yes if you have, no if you haven't. Yes, no, yes, no. Yes, no. Okay, 50-50. Same thing. It's better than operator, which is good. But Sora has been around for some time. You can just create videos. I said, I'm going to Miami. I'm going first week of June. Can you create a video of all the things I should do? Yeah, and so it created a video for me. Okay, how many of you have used image generation? Yes for yes, no for no. Okay, most of you have used image generation, so you know how to do that. I will show you custom GPTs, how to use them. But I found these few that are especially relevant to you. So there is this custom GPT called Pitch Deck Analyzer. And what you can do is you can put your pitch deck in, I am not kidding, I did this with Nicole and Lauren. Within a minute or two, it came back with, here's what you're doing well, here's what you're not doing well. Here are suggestions to improve your pitch deck. It's super crisp. For those of you who are pitching next Monday, use this and it's a great way to learn about this. Next one I found is fundraising GPT. So, many of you are raising money. And this one, it says, here's my pitch deck. Can you build a VC pipeline for me? I'm primarily interested in California. Act like Sequoia Capital. Use the ACTS framework, right? So it analyzed the pitch deck. It created a pipeline. After it created the pipeline, I said, no, it asked me, do you want me to send personalized messages to each one of these VC firms? I could have said yes. I said, for each one of these VC firms, can you tell me which partner I should talk to? What is their contact information, etc.? And in many cases, it responded to my request. Then there are others like VC Insight, doing similar things. So let me switch to ChatGPT. By the way, as I'm doing that, can you do a yes or no? Yes, if you have used custom GPT. No, if you have not. Yes, no, yes, no. Okay, it's 50-50. Okay, if you're not using custom GPT, you're missing out. So let's use custom GPT. Okay, can you guys see my ChatGPT window?
Yes.
Okay, so it is still analyzing. We'll come back to this. So on the left-hand side, you will see this tab, Explore GPTs. So you go there, and these are all the custom GPTs that people have built. So 50% of you who said no, my sense is what you guys are primarily doing is going to ChatGPT, asking a question, and that's it. But operator, you can go to the operator here. It takes you to another tab. I will go back. And for custom GPT, you go to Explore GPT. So think of this like as a GPT app store. So it has the featured GPTs, Canva and Wolfram and so on. It has what's trending. So many of these are third party, like Canva is from Canva, Wolfram is from Wolfram. And then OpenAI has their own custom GPTs. I assume many of you have used DALL-E for images. And you can go down or you can go here. For writing, here are the custom GPTs. For productivity, here are the custom GPTs. For research and analysis, here are the custom GPTs. For education, here are the custom GPTs. For lifestyle, here are the custom GPTs. Let's have some fun. So this is astrology. I believe in astrology only if the prognosis is good. So let's see if my prognosis is good. This can be dangerous. Okay, so I'll say I am Pisces. Please be the best astrologer there ever was. What is in store for me this week? Please share only the good news. That's my constraint. So behind the scenes, what is happening is this is not necessarily the open internet, right? If it is the open internet, then you will get very generic answers. So this data set, some astrology friends have trained on the astrology data set. And that data set asks for when were you born, where were you born, what city were you born, etc., etc. And so this is much more customized for you than if you were to ask the same question of ChatGPT. So you guys get the picture. So if you have not played with custom GPT, please do so. I was playing with Ghibli. So you can generate Ghibli style images from ChatGPT or from DALL-E, or so many other things have popped up, right? All these are custom GPT. So think of this like a GPT app store, like I said. And just have fun with it. I will go back to ChatGPT. Go back to NVIDIA stock. Okay, it is still working. So guys, there is no better way to teach this or share this, but like point you in a direction and you guys have to try it. I don't know how long it will take, so let's take some questions. Brett, you had a question.
Not so much a question. I was just going to mention that with that too, that you can also share that link. So say that once that deep research is done, you can actually share that link and people can see the results. That was it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The one disappointing thing is deep research does not create PDF. So it's a bit irritating for me because it created this 23-page report. And then I said, convert it into PDF. It said, converted, here's the link, but it was not a hyperlink. Then I asked, why is there no PDF? It said, oh, that functionality is not available yet. It will be available in the future. Right? So there are kinks like this, but this is a very new product, like 30 days old. So it will just get better over time. Okay, other questions? David.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I was curious when you're talking about, I'm really liking the concept behind the agentic workflow and actually having autonomous employees for certain parts of my particular business. Now, as you're talking about operator, and I'm trying to understand, how you make the workflow and how the logic behind it. Can you explain a little bit? Is this part of the process you go through, putting your use case and some of your data to kind of come up with a workflow working through operator? I know I'm gonna have to use it myself to really understand it practically, but I'm just asking you just right now so I can get more excited to use it actually.
Yeah, David, do you play golf?
I don't.
Okay. A long time ago, I said, I'm going to learn golf. So I downloaded this app on my PC to learn golf. And it was a total waste of time. And then I went to the golf course and I learned golf. So I'm half joking, but there is no better way to learn than to try. No class, no session, no person will teach you how to do it. Just ask your question of ChatGPT, try operator, try deep research, and see what you find. And reach out to me if you have questions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, guys, other questions? Yes, Vikash. Vikash, you're on mute.
Yeah, sorry, it took me a while to unmute myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thanks for this informative session. I was just curious if you are maintaining any set of prompts or if you know of any catalog of prompts, and if you can share them, that will be wonderful.
Yeah. So Vikash, because you registered, you'll get a copy of the slides. I have a few more slides on prompts, but use them as a starting point. Just experiment. Well, once you get the hang of it, you learn super fast. It's not that
Okay.
difficult.
Got it.
Okay, I'm disconnecting too.
One last question is, one follow-up question is, what did you find in the $200 per month plan that is super amazing, that is not available for the $20 plan?
More depth, super fast. I'm not used to waiting for my PC to do work for me. The PC is normally waiting for me. So it's very irritating to me if I have to wait to get the answer. So it's super fast.
Got it. But in terms of reasoning, it's the same power, right? Like it's only the performance that is better.
No, it has the latest reasoning engine. So they always deprecate because otherwise, what's the incentive to sell up, right?
Right.
Yeah. So guys, we got the NVIDIA report. Let's say it basically in this one I forgot to say format. So it's all text. But it basically did free cash flow projection, valuation, looked back, did the FCF analysis, says $115 billion free cash flow in 2030, looked at the price targets, looked at competitive information, looked at some macroeconomic things, looked at different valuation models, did a reverse DCF, did the triangulation, and basically bottom line, it says, triangulating all of this, it is reasonable to expect NVIDIA stock could roughly triple by 2030. A plausible target range would be 600 to 800 pre-split, which corresponds to roughly. Anyway, so you guys can play with it. That's the best way to learn. Let me go back to slides. We are almost out of time. I keep losing my Zoom window. Okay, so I'm going to stop. I'll go back to slides. Okay, you guys can see the slides now?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Garrett, I'll come to you after the slides. Okay, so I'm a big fan of OpenAI. I'm an early investor in OpenAI. If you're going to learn more about ChatGPT, watch these four podcasts. Deep Research just came out. Isa is the product manager on it. She talks about how they came about, what's the advantage, what's the roadmap, blah, blah, blah. Somebody was asking about prompts. There are more prompt ideas. Using ChatGPT with Excel, using ChatGPT with PowerPoint, agentic use case. I'm a broken record. If you are a startup, if you need help with Brink, we are here to help you guys. Last. So again, reminder, some of you joined late. So next Monday's session is in person only. We are going to have a pitch event. We have 9 startups. 10 minutes each. We have 5 judges. Please arrive by 4:15. We'll start at 4:30 sharp. And then 6 p.m. we'll have some food and drinks and some networking. Let your friends know you are pitching if you're pitching, so they can come root for you. But it's a good way to wrap up this 6-session workshop series.